All right, gym owners and personal trainers, we need to talk about what you need to be doing to be able to build your fitness business, especially because there is so much confusion about what is actually happening in the world right now. A lot of personal trainers, a lot of gym owners are just literally losing their clients right now, and you might be stressed about what it is that you need to be able to do and not go broke. And that's why I want to show you something critical, because this is the stuff that's proven to work. For example, Aaron was able to literally in just 24 hours be able to sign on over 200 clients into a €400 a month program, literally getting yourself to under 100,000 per month in being able to do what I'm going to show you is going to be these simple processes. Because there's three things you need to understand, especially at this time as a fitness pro, is you need to be able to, one, you need to have clarity on what it is that you are actually doing to be able to build your business. You need to be clear how you're getting leads. You need to be clear how to be converting them. You need to be clear how you're going to deliver your coaching as well. I'm literally going to show you that in this training session right now. The other thing that you need to be super clear on is there needs to be speed. You need to be very speedy on what it is that you need to be able to do. Speed is king in these situations for you to be able to actually capitalize on the opportunities at hand, for you to be able to do what it is that you need to do to make sure you build your business and try and avoid not going broke as well. The third thing we need to make sure that we're doing is you need to make sure that you're being effective. You can't be doing the wrong things because that's just going to get you into the wrong direction. So if you're clear on the exact intentions to be able to attract leads, convert them to clients and deliver, you're able to get things up and running quickly, which is why we're doing this right now. And you're making sure that what you are doing quickly is effective. You are going to build a business in a time of crisis. Now, let's think about what it is that you need to really make sure that you're doing and how, like, we're looking at on building businesses. So a lot of personal trainers, a lot of gym owners right now, they're stuck on what it is that you need to be able to do. And this framework is going to be able to help you. Because the first thing you need to be able to do is you need to be able to protect, okay? And you need to be able to protect three different things. First, you need to be able to protect you. You need to be able to protect you because you don't want to get sick. You need to be able to function. You need to be able to protect your family as well. So you need to make sure that you're on your aim game right now. If you're tired, if you've already been hustling hard and you're feeling way down, look, you're going to have to find another gear. This is when you're going to need to step up and you need to make sure that you're protecting yourself. The second thing that you need to be able to do is you need to protect your team. And this is the people that are working with you and for you to make sure you are being able to move together. So whether you have employees, whether you've got contractors, whether you've got VAs, you've got people all around you that are going to be helping you in your business, you need to make sure that you're protecting your team and you need to make sure that you are protecting, well, that didn't come out right, your clients. You need to know right now what it is that you need to do to make sure that you're saving clients so you have a high retention and that you're not losing them, and you're even being able to make the pivot, which is going to be the next thing that we need to be able to talk about here. So once you protect, then you need to do a pivot. You cannot keep doing the same things that you've been doing before. This is where so many coaches are falling into a trap right now, because you're going to be finding that there's a lot of things that are just not going to work. So there's three things that you need to be able to pivot when it comes to being able to have all of this. The first is how you actually attract leads. I'm going to go really deep into this for you as well for the exact strategies that are working. The next, how do you actually convert leads into clients? And then the third is how do you deliver the actual coaching as well, okay? So first you've got to protect yourself, your team, and your clients. You've got to pivot. You need to make changes with how you're attracting leads, converting leads to clients, and delivering. The third aspect that we need to make sure that we cover together right now is once you've protected, you've pivoted, then you can make sure that you start to profit at the same time. And there's going to be three critical things that you need to be able to do when it actually comes to the profiting side of your business. The first is going to be, what are you actually offering? Okay, so what's your offer to the actual market? A lot of people are getting this wrong because they're still offering what they were before. You're still doing the same old 28-day challenge or 6-week challenge or all of those things that you're doing. What you need to make sure it's contextualized to what's happening now. Think about it right now, your market. How can you help your market with exactly what they're going through right now? That is going to be the key factor for you people signing up for you and making sure they're not dropping off as well. Because the second is, I kind of said it before, is you need to contextualize. Sorry, messed that up. You need to contextualize your message right now to your market. If you're not talking about the exact problems that they're having right now and how you solve those exact problems, you're going to become obsolete because they're not going to be even thinking about you. Like literally think it right now. You've probably been scrolling through Facebook or Instagram. You've been on websites and you've seen stuff that people are trying to sell or talking about, and it's got nothing to do with what's going on in your conversation, with what you are actually thinking about, and therefore you just completely dismiss it. So that's why you need to become top of mind to your market, because then what you need to be able to do is you need to be able to profit from what it is you sell. So for you to be able to actually have high converting conversations, which means you get leads coming through and they're actually signing on to your program, you need to be selling them something specific to what's happening right now. And that's why I wanted to actually record this for you right now, because this is going to show you the changes that you can literally make today moving forward into this as well. So we know that we need to protect, pivot, and profit. Now we need to go deep into what it is that you need to be doing as well to make this happen. So what I want to show you firstly is, let's do it this way, is we've talked about attract, okay? So right now you need to be able to attract leads. A good question is going to be, well, then what do you actually need to be doing to attracting leads when it comes to this? And it's going to be really simple. You need to do 3 things right now when it comes to this. The first is you need to think of your list, okay? So who do you already have as an email list or a ManyChat list, or Instagram followers, YouTube, Facebook? Who are the people that are already a part of your ecosystem that you've built? You need to be putting a specific offer out to them. The second thing you need to do to attract leads is you need to think about organically, how can you get people that don't know you to know? What is that message? What is that content? What are you putting out there for people that don't know you for you to start building that relationship with them? And then we can start talking about paid ads on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, Google, all the places that you can start really effectively right now. Because to be perfectly honest, right now, leads costs on ads are plummeted. It's much, much cheaper to be getting leads online because so many people, they're on their phones now. So if you have a contextualized message that is solving their problem, your ads are highly relevant. We've been testing this in markets and it's working. So now we can talk about the second thing you need to make sure that you're doing from today. How are you converting leads into clients? And this is going to break down into 2 things I want you to make sure that you're doing. Number 1, I want you to make sure, does it actually need to change? So what is what we call the event? So for example, you might be selling online coaching through a conversation, a phone call, an online like video call together. Or if you were selling, say, gym memberships or face-to-face personal training through a conversation, that can easily transfer over to a conversation that's had via online. That is specifically the event. That is specifically the thing that you need to be able to actually see, does that need to change? Because I'll be perfectly honest, with some coaches it does, with some coaches it doesn't. And that's why I'm not a fan of a cookie cutter approach for everyone to follow, because that's not going to be the best answer for the vast majority of people. So what I want to make sure is the event. You need to think about right now, does the actual mechanism that you're selling, is that going to work right now? The second thing you need to be able to think about to make sure that you're converting is, what is the actual offer? So what are you offering? What are people actually selling themselves into right now? And you need to be saying, okay, do I actually have an offer that my market wants to come on board into? So as I said before, you don't want to be selling the same old stuff that doesn't matter. It doesn't have the context of what's actually going on in their life right now. Because the gym owners and the trainers that have changed their offer to talk to the exact problem, such as, hey, maybe you're stuck at home, you can't go to the gym, you must be able to work out from home. What is it about your health, your immunity, all these other things that you need to be actually talking about? If you can give them what they want, then that's going to be much, much easier for them to actually give you money for what it is that they want at the end of the day. So then we go from attract, convert, and now we need to talk about, how do you actually deliver what it is you do for your clients? So the first thing we need to be able to do is we need to be able to think of the actual method that you're coaching people. So let's say there's been a lot of gym owners that have never done online coaching before, and then they've had to pivot, because otherwise they die if they do not, to be able to actually build a coaching business online. So you think of the method. Do you have the right app in place? Do you have the software? Is all the tech stuff set up? Are they all actually talking to each other? It's all that stuff that needs to be able to happen. But we also need to talk about a side that's really important, and that's going to be touch points. So really importantly now, you need to think about how do you deliver the actual value to your clients when coming on board, and what are those touch points? How often are you talking to them? How are you talking to them? Through what communication channels are you talking to them with? And is it in a way that best helps them and is actually able for you to run the business? Because let's be perfectly honest, you don't want to be just like stuck behind your computer 24 hours a day, scrambling, trying to make it work, because then it won't work after a short period of time. So that's where we need to think about those touch points for you need to be able to actually deliver. And then you need to think of what is your retention plan? How do you make sure that you are actually having clients stay on board with you? So this is where you need to think of a couple of things right now. You need to think of, like, let's say, for example, you go, okay, Chris, I'm not very good at organic. Okay, well, that's a red light. You go, no, but I've got a list already. I can start, I've got Instagram followers. I can start, say, talking to my email list as well. And you're like, oh, well, I don't have paid. So what we're doing is we're trying to figure out what is a red light, what is a green light? Because the goal here is to have green lights everywhere. So we've first got to figure out and go, oh, my mechanism is actually pretty good. So let's do this. I'm going to give myself a green light. You know, my offer, it's not converting right now. I need to change it to what's actually happening. Then my method for actually coaching people, oh, you know what, it's okay, but it's not the best. I'm going to give myself an amber light. My touch points need to change. This isn't great. I need to fix that. My retention, that's good, but at this time with what's going on in the world, it's really not great. I need to fix that. Now you have a tangible, we can start to step-by-step break down what it is that you need to do. Because this is exactly what we do when we have our strategy calls with coaching. We sit down and we go, what are the methods? What are the projects you need to work on? We need to first figure out where you are. Then we can piece together, what are your goals? How much money do you want to make? Where do you want to work from? Who are you actually working with? What's your business model? All of these key questions that we must answer. And then we simply can draw a straight line and go, this is the exact methods, the exact projects, the exact system that you need to be able to follow, because we know that then that's going to work for you. So one more thing, I really want to make sure that you walk away with this with plenty of value. You've seen a sales funnel before, right? So we can say, all right, Chris, this is going to be your sales funnel. All right, cool bananas. How does this actually work? Because you need to understand this. You have top of funnel, which is people that do not know you. You have middle of funnel, which is people that know you. Maybe they follow you on Instagram or on social media, but they're not your clients and they're not really deep in the sales process. And then we have your bottom of funnel. Okay, so the whole idea is we want people to go down the line. We need to drive them down the sales funnel, because if you do that, then what you're going to do is you have a sale at the end and you get a new client. That's a bad drawing. That's supposed to be that's a bad drawing. There we go. That's a client. It's a new client for you right there. Okay, you have a sale at the end. So you've got to think about what is the actual psychology of everyone, because you have to give a different message to depending where they fit on the actual sales funnel. Because people that don't know you, they're going to be skeptical. They're going to be really skeptical of who you are and what you do and everything that's going on. Very natural, especially with what's going on in the world right now. Middle of funnel, they're going to be curious. They're curious about who you are, what you do, and if you can actually get them to do the next steps for them to have their solution. And then if you get them down to the bottom of the funnel, they're going to be hot. They're going to be very ready, but you need to make sure that you can still get them over the line into the actual sale for what it is that you're looking for. So this is why you need 3 campaigns right now to run. This is where the rubber meets the road for you. Because number one, you need to build an audience. So you have your audience building campaign first. You need to get people that don't know you to start actually building some rapport, getting some like trust built between them and you. Number 2 is you need to actually start what we call filling your funnel. We need to start building your list, whether it's building your email list, getting opt-ins, getting people to your lead magnets, to your webinars, to your sales, like all the things. You need to actually start building some lists so that you can actually retarget them and be able to see putting your message in front of them over and over. Because then the third campaign that you need to be able to do is what we call your application filling funnel. So these are the people that are going to be having conversations with you. They're going to your sales pages. These are the people that are right before, when they're hot, you need to get them over the line with what we were talking about before, which was your sales mechanism. So again, you need to think about, okay, am I being effective? Am I building an audience? Number one. Number two, do I have a funnel building campaign in place? And number three, do I have an application filling campaign in place? So if we put this into a nutshell right now, you've got to think about, are you clear on what it is that you need to do? Are you being able to do it speedy, and are you doing it effectively? Then we need to think about, okay, are you protecting? Are you pivoting? And are you profiting? We went through these things. And this is exactly what the other coaches are doing right now that are actually building their businesses, while the others are struggling, and if not, others are actually going out of business, and we want to avoid that. Then we want to think about, okay, when it comes to attracting, converting, and delivering, are you doing these specific things? Can you work through and have green lights in all of these right now? Because you need green lights in all of them for the business to be actually growing and going into momentum. And then you think about, very practically, do you have these 3 campaigns in place for you to be able to build your business? And I know I've run through this as quick as I possibly can. I wanted to give you tons of value, because the thing is, you just need to answer, is it working, what you're doing, or is it not working? Because if it's not working, look, that's okay. And this is why I wanted to give you this, because honestly, the easiest next step is for us to be able to have a super quick chat and what we just call a strategy call. All of the coaches that we've just showed you doing this have been doing the exact same thing. We have a strategy call, we plan out and give you that custom plan for you to be able to take those next steps as well. Now, it's completely free. There's nothing to buy on this first call. It's a quick 15-minute chat where me and my team can actually map out, number one, what is it that you need? And two, what do you qualify into being able to take the next steps? And if we can actually help you to take from there. Worst case scenario, you go running off with the plan that we actually give you as well. So what I'll do is I'll just pop a link below for you to be able to get access and be able to book in a time for your strategy session. And then we'll actually be able to go through with you, number one, how are you looking in what we call the genius model right now? Are you being able to have green lights, and what do you need to do to have green lights to attract leads, convert leads to clients, and deliver them as well? And can we get you set up with your 3 campaigns really quickly? Because as I said before, speed is king. And if you aren't doing the effective things right now, you could be dead in the water. And that's why I wanted to share this with you. So I'll pop a link below for us to be able to have a strategy session. I hope this has really helped you, and I'm looking forward to chatting with you really soon.